I hope that every Republican in the country who's pro-choice decides to abandon their dangerous extremist party and come over to a party that stands up for the freedom of the people. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
That this is a choice that belongs to women, girls, and their families. That is the vast majority of the American people.
The MAGA party wants to turn what is today and what has been for 50 years a constitutional right into a federal crime. And they want to do it before the 4th of July.
Those who are willing to rip up the constitutional precedent to promote a pro-life agenda should embrace constitutional precedent that allows us to promote a pro-life agenda that the vast majority of the American people endorse.
It seems like the cat's got their tongue now that they have struck the rock. And the rock is the women of America who are standing up for their freedom as first-class citizens of the United States of America. They've grown a little more reticent and evasive about voicing their determination to ban all abortions everywhere in the country. America is a country committed to individual freedom and the rights of the people to make their own decisions, and not having busybody theocrat politicians in state capitals telling them how to make their own decisions about their careers, about their lives, about their families, and about their health care. And certainly not allowing Lindsey Graham to dictate to the women of America what their destiny will be. I thought we were going to be distracted with Republican calls to ban abortion across the country. Well, the polls must be teaching them something, because I'm not hearing about abortion today. They're singing a somewhat different tune since the people of Kansas, by 20 points, destroyed their anti-choice agenda. They want a nationwide law which makes it a crime to have an abortion anywhere, in any case, including where women and girls have been raped or are victims of incest. Can we endure half free choice states and half theocratic compelled pregnancy states?
Much less would I trust the politicians who are fighting to criminalize abortion in all cases, with no exceptions, even for violent rape or incest across all of America. Why would we put this decision in the hands of those people?
You know what else Americans are worried about? Americans are worried about now state politicians and federal politicians trampling the rights of women. For more than a half century, women have had a right to make their most intimate, procreative, and reproductive decisions with their families, with their husbands, with their partners, with their ministers, with their church leaders. And then they gerrymandered the Supreme Court. They kept Merrick Garland off the Supreme Court by not even giving him a hearing over on the Senate side. And then what do you know? They follow what the RNC was asking for in all their platforms for all of those years: overturn Roe versus Wade. And they overturned Roe versus Wade. And then we hear from our colleagues, well, we just want the states to decide. But yesterday, Senator Lindsey Graham unveiled what the real plan is: a nationwide criminal ban on abortion. And if they can go further in the states, they will go further in the states. And we got Republican proposals all over America to completely ban abortion from the moment of conception, which is the pro-life orthodoxy, which is life begins at conception. We heard it in the Judiciary Committee. We've heard it in the Oversight Committee. We've been hearing it for years, but now they have fallen strangely and demurely silent. And why is that? Well, part of it is because of the good people of Kansas, who showed them just where America is on this.
But what happened was a transformation within the Republican Party, because they began to insist that opposition to Roe versus Wade be a litmus test issue, the central issue that judges would have to pass or lawyers would have to pass before they got appointed to the bench. And so it became a decades-long campaign to overthrow Roe versus Wade, which had been principally the handiwork of Republican appointees to the court, but it had built this wonderful line of precedent about the constitutional right to privacy. And they were so emphatic about it that in 2006, they blocked President Obama's nominee, Merrick Garland, from even getting a hearing. This is an illuminating hearing, Mr. Chairman. The Republicans' own witness, the witness they called, is candidly and openly calling for a nationwide ban on all abortions with no exceptions for rape or incest. And if I've got that wrong, I would invite Ms. Foster to correct me. Do I have it wrong, yes or no?
If we added rape and incest exceptions, would you vote for it?
Okay, I reclaim my time, of course. This is a position for government-compelled childbirth in all cases so extreme that it excludes the vast majority of Americans of all political persuasions. Talk, for example, to our Republican colleague Nancy Mace, who has written movingly of her own rape at age 16, and she refused to stand down before anti-choice extremists in South Carolina who wanted to criminalize abortion, as this witness does in every single case.
Dark red, the maroon states, those are states where the dangerous extremists in the Republican Party who are now running the party have gotten their way, and they've been able to completely ban women's rights. Now, what would happen if Senator Rand Paul and Representative Alex Mooney's legislation, which is endorsed by the vast majority of the Republican caucus in the House, were to pass? They would define personhood as beginning at conception, banning in effect all abortions and certain types of birth control too, by the way, such as IUDs. What would happen? Put up that second map. Abortion would be banned all over America. If they're able to enact a nationwide ban on abortion, what will the effect be on the health care provided to America's women?
It's hard for me to even fathom how much worse things are going to get in the setting of a national abortion ban. I have patients that seek abortion for all kinds of different reasons.
As they always point out, the fetus is still a human being, even if it is conceived as the result of a gang rape of a 13-year-old girl or an incestuous rape of a teenager. The most intellectually consistent Republicans, like the GOP candidate for governor of Pennsylvania, have said that women themselves should be charged with murder for having an abortion at 10 weeks, for example, which is what the Pennsylvania Republican gubernatorial candidate said. These state legislators and all the busybody theocrats in Congress who think they know better than the women of America are going to usurp that very private medical decision for women and for their families. Ms. Fry, what would a nationwide ban on abortion rights mean for the social and economic status of women in America? Will they be equal citizens under such a situation?
Well, I think not, because they won't have the ability to control their bodies and their futures. And what we know is that access to abortion has been critical in the ability of women to make decisions about their lives and decide when they want to have a family and ensure their own economic stability and security.
Madam Chair, let's not go down the road of Saudi Arabia and Iran. Let's be America. I yield back.